Let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to talk today about how and why I got into surrogacy, why I chose this, how I chose it, and why it's a choice, and all that kind of stuff. So if you have any questions, drop them below. I will answer just about anything that has to do with this topic. So I'm going to start with how or why I chose surrogacy. I chose surrogacy because I see a great need for people who want children that are genetically or partly genetically, or even just children that are theirs to have. And normally they have went other routes and tried other things. Excuse me. And for whatever reason, it hasn't or it can't work out. And I grew up with people around me who had infertility issues and who wanted children who couldn't have them. And I just knew when I was younger, about 12 years old, that I wanted to help people have babies. My sister, who's a bit younger than me, has irregular periods, and I literally would jump on board if she said she wanted a baby and give her a baby. Yes, it's a little bit different with people I don't know, but by the end of the journey, they're not strangers anymore, believe it or not. Um, so how I chose it was a little bit different. I had been thinking about it and I hadn't seriously looked into it because I wasn't sure at that point in my life if it was something I could do. Like at that point, I had two small children of my own. I didn't know if my partner would be supportive. But one day there was a post on Facebook. Ooh, the lovely world of Facebook, right? It shows you random things that you were thinking about without you even Googling them. Kinda creepy, Facebook. Back up. Anyway, there was a post saying, if you could be a surrogate, would you? And I commented on that post literally saying that I wish I could find out more and that it's something that had interested me from a young age. And lo and behold, an agency messaged me and said, "Hey, we can give you more information if you want it." And I hummed and I hawed and I kind of told them I'd think about it a bit. And then I was like, "Can you add me to your group so I can think about it more, so I can see the process, so I can kind of know a bit more about what's going on?" So I thought about it for a good year. Honestly, I messaged them back and forth, kind of was like, "What can I do? What can I get? What's next?" Like, looking for anything and everything, just watching the bonding that other women had with not only the babies, but the parents, and watching the building blocks of that family grow was amazing. And one day I just messaged them and I was like, "So, what's next? If I want to try this, what's next?" And they were like, "Well, you can write up a profile, and when you're done that, we can send you a couple and let's see where it goes from there." So that's just kind of, you know, I went from there. I read 3 profiles, 2 of them stuck out to me, and I just couldn't get the one out of my head. Just I fell in love with their profile, and I know that doesn't make sense, and I know it's a bit like dating and, like, if you fall in love with somebody online, that's a big no-no. I've been there, I've dated online. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because it definitely happens, but for me, it's a big no-no. I'll talk about that maybe in a different video. Um, but I fell in love with the family, and, I started to get to know them, and we had started the process, and I found out I was pregnant. So it stopped it. But I was really hard on myself for getting pregnant because I had taken precautions and I had tried not to get pregnant, and I failed. I failed myself, I failed my partner, I failed our family. well, one half's family who didn't want us to have any more kids. They thought the 2 we had was enough, um, but I tried, and I've come to the point now that I tried, that's all I could do. I would not change having, my daughter for my life. She is literally, like, she's a mini me. She's an angel, but then she's a devil. It's hilarious. Um, anyway, fast forward till I was about 6 months pregnant. I reached back out to them and I was like, "So, if you wanna do this, I still want to. I do not want any more children. I didn't wanna be in this story to begin with, but I want to." And they were like, "Well, if we haven't found anybody, maybe," right? Like, they didn't wanna put all their hope in or all their eggs in one basket, which I totally understand. Um, so anyway, fast forward to about 3 weeks before she was born. So I would have been about 38 weeks pregnant, I think. Um, 37 or 38 weeks pregnant. They messaged me, like, wondering how I was doing, just checking on me, just talking, and I was like, "Good, good." And we had a bit of a conversation, and that it just ended. I didn't reach out to them. They didn't reach out to me because, again, like, none of us were putting our eggs in one basket, waiting to see how my labor went and everything. But then my daughter was about 4 weeks old, and I messaged them. I was like, "If you're ready to do this, let's do this. I want to do this. If you wanna do this, I wanna do it." So, lo and behold, that's how my journey with them started. And I wanna say from my perspective, and not everybody's the same, not everybody will have the same experiences. I had an amazing first journey, literally no bumps after the getting pregnant bump. Um, is that everything happened for a reason. In my case, I fell in love with the profile and I met them, like, I Skyped them for the first time and I fell even more in love with them, which again probably will not make a lick of sense to anybody, but just the way they talked, the energy they had, the hope they had, just their love, I could feel it through the webcam. And that's how I chose. Um, I didn't want to be rash and just randomly decide that, "Oh, this is the couple I'm gonna do it for." But I was lucky. I was very lucky. I read, like I said, 3 profiles. One couple kinda stood out to me, but in the end, when I kept thinking about them, and I took about a week to think about it, I just kept going back to the one couple over and over again, and I feel like even if they had have given me more profiles, I probably would have gra gravitated towards that couple. Um, it was just like fate. Um, so again, a bit on why I chose it. Another part of the why is because when I was young, I knew I wanted children. I had my first child at 20. My partner was 3 years younger than and I just decided I wanted kids. And I had wanted kids before that. Probably around 16, I kind of was like, I want kids. I want to be done before I'm 30. I want kids now. And I'm glad I waited and I didn't have kids young. Um, it wasn't, you know, I should have waited longer. I should have went to school. I should have done all of these things before having kids and before all that. But you know what? I have my 3 kids. I've done 1 year in college. I have to go back and restart everything and do everything over again. And I wouldn't change it again. And I've had a surrogacy journey, and my life has been very full of learning and knowledge and love, and I wouldn't change that. Um, I've seen moms at like 15, 16 be as good as moms at in their 40s and 50s, but I've also seen moms really, and they're older, like 30s up, be really bad parents. And I've seen young kids be really bad parents. But when it comes to surrogacy, if a person has to come this far, if a person has to pay an agency a lot of money to have a baby, that baby is so wanted. You're not gonna have somebody drop $10,000 or more. It's a lot more than $10,000 to have a baby, but through surrogacy, by the way. Um, $10,000, give or take, for somebody to have their baby. A it's basically a dating app, and you have to get lucky just like on a real dating app. You have to find somebody who your heart, mm, just is gravitated towards. So, you know, if I didn't have the fortunate ability of having children, I would want there to be somebody who could have a child for me. Because again, like I have talked about, adoption's not always an option. And that's another reason about why I did it. Adoption is not always an option. So I'm going to break this down into why I know adoption is not always an option. And I'm going to do it a little bit of it. I'm not going to go hugely into it again. I'll do that in another video. But basically, it has to come down to time, culture, the couple in the relationship, or even the single person in the relationship. Money, I don't think I said that yet. And the color of your skin. That is why adoption is not always an option. Because unfortunately, the adoption standards are way up here in a lot of places, and people are lucky if they meet them down here. Like, if I was a young mom, which I am, or say I was a young woman who couldn't have children, my eggs weren't good, my uterus wasn't good, none of that was good, and I was making 50,000 a year, it probably wouldn't be enough for them. I'm young, I'm single, that's not enough income for a child. I don't own a house. There's they have a ridiculous checklist. And the fostering program, again, it's a joke. People aren't vetted properly, but then the people who should be able to be foster parents aren't considered. Or if you've had like child protection in the past, even if it was somebody called in a bogus complaint, you can't foster a child. So that's when people turn to surrogacy because it's not an easy choice. It can't be. The couple I'm dealing with now have tried for a baby for 7 years plus. They've tried on their own, they've tried medically, they went through another surrogacy and it didn't go through because apparently the something with the agency. I don't know who the agency was, but they were just too new. And sometimes newer companies don't work. That's where I'm lucky. My company is 10 years old, and we're not even really a company, we're more like a family. Um, sorry, I have a bad back. So, let's see. Okay. So, one of the reasons I did not choose surrogacy was for the money. I did not choose surrogacy to make money. I did not make this YouTube channel to make money because money doesn't matter. Yes, it helped me and my children get ahead. But in the end, stuff doesn't matter, money doesn't matter. What matters is the love you have with your children, with your family. And that's the most important thing to me is that I have my 3 children. They are a blessing. Um, my oldest child is the one that proved to me that I could have children. Sorry, I thought I heard a child. Maybe not. My middle child was my child that made me hit a brick wall and do a 360 in my life because I wasn't living my life to my full potential. And my daughter, along with my surrogate baby, taught me my worth, taught me who I could and could not trust, taught me who I could and couldn't love, taught me to be better, taught me that I was more than what I was being racked up to. I feel like my ADHD has really made this video flip around. That and I can't drink these much longer, but that's okay. Wonder how much caffeine's in this. Anyway, um, any questions? I'm kind of trying to figure out how to keep on track. I didn't write down points like I did before. Hmm. I don't know. So if you're new here, can I please get you to like and subscribe? I know it's probably asking a lot, and I'm probably not that entertaining yet, but it's gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. I am growing. Every day I grow. Every day I learn more because that's what life is. And every day I find something new to learn. I think I already said that. Um, how and why? Oh, another reason why I did it was for my children, actually, because I want to teach my children that love is love, that within reason, age doesn't mean anything. Age is just a number. As long as you're not like 50s and or anywhere above 18 and going after young girls or young boys, because it happens the other way around too, then love is love. And the color of your skin doesn't matter. And your gender doesn't matter. And your sexual preference doesn't matter. And I live in a small town. I don't know how many people live here, but there's not much diversity here. And it's just that's how it is. 1 second. I'm Googling how many people live in my town. No YouTube. Oh, wow. That's bigger than I thought, but it's still small. Apparently, there's 6,271 people in my town. And I don't know if that includes children and families, which is crazy because the town over has like just over 5,000 or the I don't know if it's not really I guess Kentville, sorry, is a ville and New Minas is a town. I I don't know. but we have over 1,000 more than they have, and they're bigger. Um, but there's not much diversity here. There's a little bit. There's some people from Aqualowit and lovely places and lovely people, but we're a very white community. So, I want to be able to show my children people of other cultures. I want them to get to explore, and I want to be able to take them and travel. But that's yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna end this video, but I'm going to start another one just about something a little bit different. Um, and I think I'm gonna go a little bit into detail about why adoption is not only an option because it's in my head now. And I don't feel like that really fits into this video. So I will see you in like 5 minutes. Okay. Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye.